9 events that lead up to the championship finals in Frankfurt in the singles and the doubles in Johannesburg. You're watching the Thriftway ATP Championships at the Jack Nicklaus Sports Center in Mason, Ohio, which is about 28 miles from downtown Cincinnati. In our feature match today, Michael Chang is the number 7 seed, taking on unseeded Andre Agassi, trying to make his way back into the seeding for major championships, including the U.S. Open. It is a very, very warm day today, 112 degrees, as you can see on the court, 53% humidity. So by any definition, it is going to be warm for both semifinals today. U.S. players have dominated this championship. In fact, 3 of the 4 semifinalists are all from the USA. Warm greetings, everybody. I'm Cliff Drysdale, along with the fiery one, Fred Stolle. A great field here for this championship. Let's see how things turned out in the quarterfinals. The top seed, Pete Sampras, over Steve Bryan. A big surprise. He was a qualifier, and he is from Texas, University of Texas graduate. Stefan Edberg over Brad Gilbert of the USA. Andre Agassi beat Michael Stich. He had also beaten Todd Martin, so 2 seeded players to get to the semifinals. Michael Chang benefited from the fact that Jason Stoltenberg of Australia beat the number 2 player in the world, Jim Courier. So how about Michael Chang, Fred, who has found his way through this championship and in the semifinals now? Here is a competitor that has been relatively quiet this week, but he's still there.
Well, Cliff, he really doesn't command the attention of the top seeds in any particular tournament. He just quietly goes through. When the draw came out, there were a group of qualifiers in his section and Jim Courier. Jason Stoltenberg took care of Jim Courier, and that left Michael Chang with a couple of young Australians in front of him, and he beat Jamie Morgan when Jamie Morgan had 6-2 in the tiebreaker in the second set. Chang came back, and then he took out Jason Stoltenberg in a terrific 3-setter yesterday. 2 matches he played yesterday. He's fit, and he's on a roll. Michael Chang, we always know, is out there, and you see him round about this time of the tournament.
All right, he's playing Andre Agassi today, Fred. What kind of a match do you think we're going to see from these two, basically baseliners, really?
Well, I think Michael Chang knows that he's got to attack more, and he's tried to get that part into his game more over the last 12 months. He knows he has a tough one against Agassi because early in their career, Agassi owned him. Now, today is a different story, basically because of the aggression that Chang has brought into his game. But I think Agassi is on a roll. I think he wants to win.
There's no doubt about that in my mind, Fred. He, of course, has been injured for a lot of this year. And for more on Agassi's chances today in the semifinal, let's go down to courtside and Vitas Gerulaitis. Vitas?
Well, thank you very much, Cliff. Andre Agassi has looked very, very confident this week, as well he should have. He's got good wins over Todd Martin, the hottest player on the tour. Michael Stich, who he defeated easily in the quarterfinals. And every time I've spoken to him this week, he sounds really positive, eager, fresh about the game. And I haven't seen him like that in quite a while. The conditions, Cliff, are very hot, very humid. And as far as conditioning, that might favor Michael Chang a little bit, but Agassi holds a commanding 5-1 edge over Michael Chang. Now, I can't guarantee a winner, but I can guarantee you we're going to see spectacular rallies and great court coverage. So let's enjoy the match, and back up to you, Cliff.
Vitas, thank you very much. No guarantees who's going to win this match. It's a close call, of course. The players, as you can see, are in the warm-up stages, best of 3 sets. Our coverage today of the tennis is being brought to you by IBM. There are over 1,000 volunteers here, 168 ball kids, and about, 860 something. One of them is Bumpy Fraser, who's also the USTA president. He's also continues to be a volunteer here, he and his wife Jo. Then there's a certain guy by the name of Bob Hayden. He runs Midland Guardian, which is a major company here, but he also cleans up in the play lounge after the players. So without those guys, this tournament would be not at all what it is, and our hats are off to them. Michael Chang from the USA, of course. He is 21 years old now. When he was just 17 years old, he won the French championships. In fact, he was the first one, really, when you consider it, wasn't he, to make his move among the Agassis and the Samprases and the David Wheatons.
Well, he's the youngster. You can see how much prize money he's amassed at 21 years of age. And, of course, you think he's been around a little bit longer than Andre Agassi. You feel, well, he's got to be a veteran of the tour now. But incredibly, he's only 21.
Andre Agassi, the man from glitzy Las Vegas, Nevada. That is where he was born, still lives there, has his own plane now. He's 23 years old. Made his move a little later than Michael Chang, but when he made it, boy, was it a move or what? He has won, of course, the great Wimbledon championships. He did that this year.
Well, Agassi started off, I remember the first time he came through, he reached the quarterfinals at Stratton Mountain when Jim Westall gave him a wild card many years ago. And that's when Nike took a gamble on him, and it certainly has paid off. It was a time when America was searching for somebody because John McEnroe had had a 6-month sabbatical, and they thought, well, what's happening to American tennis? Boy, that's a story now, isn't it, Vitas?
Yeah, if Pete Sampras is watching us, he's saying, what's Drysdale talking about Wimbledon this year? I won Wimbledon this year. Agassi won it last year. Sorry, Vitas. As you mentioned, Vitas, they've played against each other 6 times. The only time that Chang beat Agassi was during the Canadian Open. That was a few years ago. It was a match, actually, that Andre Agassi started out very well, looked for all the world like he was going to win it. Chang came back and beat him. But that's the only time Chang has beaten him. The last time they played was at the Players International just the week before last.
I want Vitas to finish that thought on what's happened since Agassi came onto the scene with the rest of the youngsters.
Well, a lot of people were saying, well, where's all the color in tennis? And when Andre Agassi came around, there was no question anymore where the color was going to come from. The excitement, the charisma. Andre Agassi has certainly filled that void since John McEnroe. But that doesn't mean the other players are not as spectacular, but in different ways.
Well, they've certainly come through with some great players, including Sampras and Courier and Chang and David Wheaton. That's George Diaz, who's the chair umpire today. And now you've got fellows like Todd Martin that are knocking on the door. There's just, they can field 2 or 3 Davis Cup teams.
Ladies and gentlemen, take your seats quickly, please.
Al Washington is representing the U.S. in the match against the Bahamas in Charlotte. That's at the end of September.
Richie Renenberg has really improved. He's made a good move in the last year.
Well, they had Patrick McEnroe and Jim Grab. Jim Grab, would like to wish him the best. I'm sure he's watching some of this telecast. He's starting to hit some tennis balls. He had problems with his shoulder injury and had to have an operation.
But don't you see that it always happens sort of in cycles? For a while we had a lot of good American tennis players. Then Bohr came around. Then there was, you seemed that every other guy on the court was a Swede with 2 hands.
That's right.
And stayed on the baseline and won matches. And then for a while we were a little bit on the short side of good players in America. But now there's an abundance of not only talent but color and just great all-around tennis.
Michael Chang played the semi-final here last year, losing to Ivan Lendl. He played the final just last week, losing to Richard Krajicek. Krajicek beat him in the tiebreak in the 3rd set, and it's the 2nd time, actually, in their career that Krajicek has beaten him in the tiebreak in the 3rd. First ball, best of 3, semi-final match. Seeded players for Andre Agassi to get through here. Todd Martin in the first round. It's the only set that he lost, and he ripped through Richie Renenberg one evening pretty easily. Doug Flack in straight sets, and in the quarterfinals yesterday, Michael Stieck of Germany. Stieck in a pretty bad mood for a while there in that match. Happens to him a lot.
It's going to be, as I would say, a long day at the office because it's about 112, 115 degrees down there. Similar type of game, both Chang and Agassi, but as our doctor of statistics, Dr. Leo Levin, says, Andre Agassi just does those things a little bit better. Hits the ball harder, just more firepower. Time will tell.
But right off the bat, Michael Chang is doing sort of what you alluded to earlier in the program. He's got to try to take a few more chances, hit the ball a little bit harder, mix up his game, come into net occasionally off that good ball in the middle of the court to just try to throw off the rhythm of Andre Agassi, because from baseline to baseline, I think right now Agassi's a better player.
30-15. Well, having said that about Chang trying to needing to be more aggressive, guys. He says about his own game, and this is a direct quote, he says, if you look at it in boxing terms, it's not so much looking for one right hook. It's more like jabbing, 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 and looking for the opening and then going for it and attacking.
Or a lot of body punches.
Yeah.
Just wears his opponents down. There's an article in the paper this morning how he wore the 2 young Australians down yesterday. Strangely enough, just before coming on air, I had lunch with the folks from Thriftway, who were the sponsors of the tournament here, and going around talking to some folks at the tables there. A lot of the public feel that Michael Chang is going to win this match today. It was incredible just to go and ask people that have come out here for the first time this week to watch these matches who's going to win. Most of them went for Chang.
You could have fooled me, Fred. I sure wouldn't have thought that that would have been the public's reaction. Game point, Chang. Brad Gilbert lost yesterday to Stefan Edberg in the quarterfinals. He sees it this way, the odds on these 4 players. He says Sampras is 7-5. He says Agassi is 3-1 to win it all, of course. Edberg 6-1, and Chang 15-1.
I hope Brad's not going to be doing anything illegal after he quits playing tennis.
No. Oh, Chang over. Slipped there. He's had problems with his ankles over there. You can see those ankles. They're all taped. He puts... you can see the angles where he tapes those things up just to keep them from going over. But just a little slip. He's okay. But it was just the velocity of that forehand, a big shot there. It was a little bit unexpected. Yeah, the left foot just went from underneath him, skidded a little.
A break point saved by Chang. Maybe redundant to say it, of course, but we need to say that Michael Chang, the quickest, well, maybe the quickest player on the tour. If there's anybody quicker than him, let me know.
This fella's not far behind him. Agassi's not too far behind him.
No.
For a while, Andre Agassi was spending more time on conditioning in the gym, working out with weights, and I think he was starting to lose some of that explosive speed that he had a couple years ago. But since Wimbledon, I think he's lost a little bit of weight. He looks a little bit leaner, a little bit meaner, and some of that spring is coming back into his legs, and I think that's why you've seen some really good tennis from Andre this week. But Michael's always quick.
Chang holds on. The players are going to change ends. On serve, 1 game to love. Agassi will serve. We will take a break from Cincinnati.
I got bigger and I got stronger, and it wasn't so much that that I got slower as more it was me relying on my strength so much that I took away from a lot of parts of the game that I do well, which is I move well, I move the ball around well, I myself cover the court well. And when I got stronger, I think I just started kind of tempting myself into playing bigger, more powerful tennis. Then all of a sudden, when I was trying to get on the offensive, they hit one ball to put me on the defensive, and it was not so much that I couldn't move. I just mentally, I wasn't prepared for that kind of discipline. And it's like anything. If you spend all your time in the weight room and not on the tennis court, it's going to hurt your game. If you spend all your time baking cookies and not on the tennis court, it's going to hurt your game.
Interesting remarks there from Andre Agassi. I think that's pretty much right about that too. And there was a time, and I agree with you, Vitas, I think he spent too much time in the weight room. Brad Gilbert swears that he is slower than he was a year ago when he came up here during the week.
I still think the main thing with Agassi now is the commitment that he's made again with Pancho Segura, who basically is trying to teach him more tactical moves than physical or even alter the stroke production. But he's down to 28 in the world, and he doesn't like to be there. I think he has to do well this week and really next week in order to get a seeding at the US Open.
First tournament as an unseeded player since the first year that he was on the tour.
Also, let me throw this one at you. I think 3 or 4 years ago, Agassi was one that just hit his opponents off the court. And now I think there's half a dozen players out there that have the same pace of shot, or just around the same speed of shot. And like a Courier or a Sampras, who can, when they get the opportunity, crank it up and knock off winners.
Courier has a good head-to-head record with Andre Agassi. The games match up well for Courier because Courier is just so strong. I mean, he can go. The problem with that matchup is this, Fred. Agassi actually likes a target, doesn't he? To some extent, so does Chang, and Courier doesn't give him one. And
Courier puts him on his heels all the time.
Yeah.
But until those boys improved their stature up to where they are now as the number 1 and 2 players in the world, then he was dominating most of the matches that he played.
Well, Michael Chang's making Andre Agassi work pretty hard right now, trying to keep the ball deep. Andre kicks the ball up high. See how that ball just jumped up high over Michael Chang's shoulder, so he could only get the ball back to the middle of the court. And that's one of Andre's best shots, the one that he runs around the backhand, the ball in the middle of the court, and can drill it most of the time back out cross court. But that time he went down the line.
This match is interesting in another aspect on the IBM ATP Tour computer. Both these players are number 1 and 2 in the world on return of serve. So they're not serve and volleyers, but they are the 2 best returners of the serve in our sport. That's off second serves. When they get a look at the ball, they don't miss too many times.
Michael Chang wins the point, and he has got a break point here. Number 1 and 2, as you were saying, Fred, 61%. It's a remarkable statistic. Michael Chang at 57 alongside Richie Renneberg. What it means is if you miss your first serve, there's a far better than even chance you're going to lose the point even though you're serving.
Game 10.
And Chang has the break. 2 games to love. Agassi had his chance in the first game, didn't convert. Chang has.
My one big question today is it's very warm down there, probably 115, maybe up to 120 on the court now. Agassi doesn't play too many matches in the mid-afternoon in this afternoon heat. And normally he's, look at that, it's over 120. And this may be a telling factor because normally he has the crowd in the early evening matches where it's a little cooler.
Right.
Love 15.
That is one department that I don't think Andre Agassi matches up well against Michael Chang. No. Michael Chang's quite a bit fitter. And even though Andre's trying to work harder now after Wimbledon and having dropped to number 28 in the ranking, but it takes a while to bring your fitness back.
Yeah, you don't just snap your fingers.
Right, it's a couple month process, yeah. Exactly. And you've got to play some matches, get match tough. It's not necessarily just the running of the matches. the road work that you do during a match play, but I find that the concentration, the stress during the match is what really tires you out. And if you haven't played a lot of matches, you're just not used to that drain.
Nervous tension. Dead right.
Two very big forehands from Michael Chang. Andre did well just to get that first one back. Big wind-up, open stance, shoulders turn. Really throws his body at that shot. Now he'll line up this second one, bowls a little bit shorter with the same driving motion. He hits it into the open court for a clean winner. Really gets a big, big turn in the rackets way, way back. A lot of racket head speed created by his turn.
Yeah. You know, Vitas, you're talking about nervous tension taking it out of you in the heat and everything, and I think that's true. I think it's balanced to some extent, though, by what Agassi himself said as you watched this replay again yesterday. He said, I'm fresh, you know, and he says things after matches that he doesn't give a lot of thought to sometimes, but in this case, I think he's dead right. I think he's fresh, and because he hasn't played that much tennis because of the injury, so if there's a balance to all those negatives, that's a plus for him. 30-all. Chang doesn't have, you know, the big booming serve.
He'll get
Never
it
has
over.
had.
No, but he'll get it over 100 mile an hour occasionally. That one, he went out wide to the forehand. When you serve that breaking ball, you're not going to get that MPH that you do if you serve that flat one down the tee.
That, for example, was 102 miles per hour. Hit a little bit flatter.
Game 10.
Chang holds on. He has a 3-game-to-love lead. He won the first set against Krajicek in Los Angeles in the final, 6 games to love before Krajicek came back. Chang, 3 games to love, 1 break of serve. It's Agassi to serve here, the semi-final of the Thriftway ATP Championships. Tomorrow afternoon here, I hope you'll come back and join us for the championship match at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be the winner of this match, of course, taking on the winner of the Sampras Edberg semi-final. That will be a rematch of last year and, by the way, a rematch of what happened in the U.S. Open final. Then next week, 7 days of coverage here on ESPN of the Volvo International from New Haven. Begins August 16th, live at 1:30. That's Monday. Agassi serving, first serve fault.
15.
Talking about the transportation, the players go to New Haven for the Volvo, or they go down to Indianapolis, which is not that far from here. And a lot of the players, the Indianapolis tournament, send up about 4 bus loads, 4 buses to pick up the players. Missed it. They've been in operation the last couple of days, those buses. I've never seen so many duffel bags outside the clubhouse here, and those little porter cases that they take their computers and all that in, and it takes them for ages. They mark them all down and line them all up so they pick them up when they get down to Indianapolis.
Also a lot of golf club bags.
Yeah.
That's sort of required carry now on the tour. You're sort of just not in if you don't have your golf clubs with you.
Used to be the opposite too. I'm not sure whether the golfers still are so enthusiastic about tennis, but certainly Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player and that group were very enthusiastic tennis players. Or
15.
game point for Agassi to get on the board. He has not won a game yet.
I'll get better, I promise.
didn't catch it. He said something to the audience. Apparently a baby cried in the audience, so he looked up in that direction and said, "I'll get better, I promise." Still crying, apparently. And so the baby is being ushered out of the stadium. Bye. Come back. Game point.
Really close. Heels out, not even close.
Agassi's on the board, and it's 3-1. Chang about to serve. Top 5 players in the world, Pete Sampras and then Jim Courier. That could have changed this week, but Sampras is still in. Courier an early loser, then Edberg, Becker and Bruguera. Chang is at number 9 in the world as of now. Behind him, Peter Korda, and you've got Steek, Lendl, Krajcek. Although Lendl is going to drop after this week. Remember, he lost early as well in his first match here, and he was a finalist last year. He played very well at this time last year, Lendl.
Well, Chang obviously will take over Krajcek there too, because Krajcek 2002 points and Chang at 1980 something. So Krajcek out early in this event. Chang will go past him.
Where's Andre Agassi in that whole thing? We should probably tell you he's at 28, but climbing.
Largely due to the wrist injury that occurred before Wimbledon, was out for quite a while, and considering that he didn't have much match play, played pretty well at Wimbledon, losing in the quarterfinals to Pete Sampras
with a half a serve motion. Yeah,
5 sets.
You got that right.
Months ago, Michael Chang would not have been as aggressive as he is in this point. Look, he hammers that forehand just like Agassi. What's this half volley? He doesn't just play it, he goes for it, stays back on that back foot, whips the topspin deep into that corner, and Agassi, as quick as he is, couldn't track it down.
That was a great shot of how much spin the guys can put on that ball. The ball is really jumping. Now, this is the type of play that Jim Courier has really improved upon. One of the reasons why he did so much better at Wimbledon this year. The short ball, they take it and now come on into net, get past that service line, get the racket out in front, and punch through the ball. Andre, even though for a while he wasn't very comfortable at the net, but he looks pretty good when he's up there. Pretty good technique, Fred.
Hit that one well.
Big point, 15-30. Break points for Agassi now. Oh, that's a great shot. He's not going to get there. And Agassi has the break, so the players will change ends. 3-2 on serve. Agassi to serve. First set, best of 3. Semi-final here. Chang and Agassi. We'll be back. Cincinnati is one of the stops, the major stops on the IBM ATP Tour Championship Series. That's where we're at. 3-2. Chang leads it here. Agassi to serve.
that forehand that was deep caused Chang the half volley, and then it was Agassi's big forehand, and then the Agassi half volley, the drop shot there that won him that game. But it was really the first deep forehand that set it up for him.
8 of the last 10 points for Agassi, who had a charmed rookie season back in 1988. He was the number 3 player in the world then, and then dropped.
We talked about how this was going to be a baseline matchup. This is how they have handled matches so far. Chang's played 3, Agassi 4, because Chang was seeded, got a bye. Look at that forehand winners. 32 from Chang, 40 from Agassi, and the backhand pretty much the same. So 65% of their winners have come from ground strokes from the back of the court. And that's quite remarkable. Just shows you the power that they have off both wings, off both forehand and backhand sides from the baseline.
30 love, and it brings up the big question that we've been talking about all week, guys. Who needs to serve and volley to win points? The game is changing.
Well, you tell that to Pete Sampras, that the game is changing, and you might have a little chuckle.
His game's not going to change.
You zapped me there. Well done. 30 love.
The games of Pete Sampras, Michael Steek, Boris Becker, they're not going to change.
No.
But the players that are out there now that really were not serving volleys are just waiting for that ball to bounce, and they can get just as much power, more power, off that shot now than if they can on a serve and volley. Michael Chang not happy with that racket, so he changes another one.
But Fred, at the same time, yes, the equipment has improved the ground strokes. You're able to hit them a lot harder, but I also feel that it's much easier to produce power off the serve now. Guys are serving 95-mile-an-hour second serves. You know, some of the good servers. So
The Richard Krajceks and the Mark Rosses.
The Pete Samprases.
Oh, yeah. Missed the return. Yeah, Agassi holds on. So 3 in a row for Agassi. Match is level at 3 apiece.
%62 there on first serve, but look at that conversion rate on second serve, points won. I made that point earlier that both these fellows on second serves are the number 1 and 2 players on the IBM ATP Tour computer.
There's
This is another second serve now. See what happens here. Fred, remind you that when you talked to Pancho Segura last week, he told you exactly that he was trying to get Agassi to be more aggressive on the second serve even than he is, and to get more first serves in. Pancho Segura, his new coach. And I referenced it before, but I have a feeling that these Agassi, Sampras, Jim Courier all owe this guy a great deal of thanks, because he was the first one to make the breakthrough to Grand Slam, win the French Championships in '89.
Sampras came through and won his in 90 at the US Open. Agassi won Wimbledon last year, and of course Courier's won a bunch of them. But he started it all. 13 of the last 16 points for Agassi. He lost the first 3 games, and then he's turned it around. 15 all.
That's one place you don't want to hit the ball to Andre Agassi, and that's in the middle of the court, because as soon as he sees that, he gets so pumped up, so excited. He gets that racket back early and just drives through the ball with a lot of pace, a lot of power.
Pretty much say the same thing about Michael Chang now. He's been practicing that. That's a la Agassi, that one, because he pushed Agassi onto his back foot there with a good solid backhand, and now he gets the one. Watch how you climb right over the top of the ball. You can't let that down. That's up around chest or waist high, and that allows the racket to follow through at about the height of the net. And when that happens, you get a good swing at the ball, and not too many things can go wrong.
Waist high in Chang's case, a couple of feet. He's 5'8", actually. Very compact build and a very compact swing for Chang. That's one of the things that's made him so good.
Another good forehand from Michael Chang. But Fred, that ball in 3/4 court, the guys that I used to play against, guys like McEnroe, players that used to come in, they took that ball and really placed it. They were trying to set themselves up for an easy volley, whereas now you're trying to win the point outright.
You used to do that off your forehand.
Right from the middle of the court.
You had a pretty solid forehand, but the equipment now, you couldn't beat that thing away for a winner. Now they just let it rip, don't they?
Game point. No.
Juice.
Key is not to go for the big one too soon sometimes.
Well, that's the in question right there. You know, Chang, if he was a Gerolaitis or if he was a McEnroe, he'd have pushed that one down into the backhand corner looking for the volley to finish the point. Now today, that is just a one-dimensional shot. It's just go for it, and it's either a winner or a loser. They make that decision.
But Fred, I still think shot selection is still very important in the game. Sure, they're able to hit the ball with a lot more pace, but that shot that Michael hit down the line was a low percentage shot, no matter how hard you hit the ball. And I think that's somewhere, that's a department that Andre's trying to improve a little bit. What Pancho Segura is working on is, yes, when you get that ball in the middle of the court, that's got to be put away. But the other ones, you have to know when to try to hit the winner and when to just get back into play.
Chang calls that mix and match. See, he says that's how he plays. Game point, Chang.
Watch out.
He let it go, thinking it was going wide, and it dropped in. So Chang holds on. 4-3 on serve. Agassi will serve. They'll take a break. We will too. We'll be back.
Well, the two big shots in the Thriftway ATP Championship semi-final here between Agassi and Chang are obviously the forehands. Let's see if we can show you the bits and pieces. Look at the elbow goes back. Now this is an open stance, but look at the shoulder turn. As the shoulder turn comes back, the head of the racket drops through, and then look, off the ground he jumps all the way through and then rolls that wrist over. We showed you that one the other night, the similar type of thing. Andre Agassi now is going to back off onto this one, and then he's going to same thing and lean forward. Now that's more of an off forehand that Agassi is hitting. Chang pretty much going cross court, but very similar finishes as they roll the head of that racket through with a lot of torque and a lot of topspin.
It's 3-4 first set, 15 love. Cliff Drysdale, Fred Stolle, Vitas Gerulaitis. It's the Thriftway ATP Championships. We're in Cincinnati. Hope you're enjoying this match. It's a warm day here. Last 10 days have been outstanding weather-wise, with the exception of, what was it, Thursday we had all that rain? Rained all day.
That's the 100-mile-an-hour first serve, placed right where Coach Segura would want it.
On the line. On the line, buddy.
Agassi not having much trouble on his serve. He was down break point, lost his serve in the second game of the match, but he's only dropped 1 point in his last 3 service games.
Landed way too long. Looked for all the world like Chang was going to put it away, but Agassi tracked it down the line for a winner, and he has won the game.
I've seen Agassi try this shot before, where he comes over, looks like he's going to hit a regular forehand, but then it's a drop shot. But he did not execute this one very well. Chang looked like he had made a put away and fully extended, and fully stretched, ripped the ball back up down the line.
Yeah, just watch how low he stays with this shot, and he stays there right through the shot.
That almost went right around the net post.
Yep. He was pretty happy with that one. Second service points won. We talked about how good both these fellas were. Agassi's won 10 of 12, but Chang only 5 of 13. So Agassi is a long way in front as far as that statistic is worth today. Both play similar type games, neither one serving and volleying very much. Matter of fact, I don't think either one of them has served and volleyed in this match so far.
We have not said a lot about Edberg in this tournament, and Fred, I know you got a chance to see him play some yesterday. He won 2 matches yesterday, of course. He beat Brad Gilbert, and before that Wayne Ferreira, and last night in the doubles he beat Sandon Stolle, your son, and his partner.
Jan Simmering. Yeah, that was a pretty easy win there for Edberg and Henrik Holm. Stefan Edberg played 3 matches yesterday.
A lot of tennis for him.
Yeah, a lot of tennis.
He looked pretty fresh this morning. I'd say I would have been lagging a bit after 3 matches, but he looked fresh this morning, ready to go.
the 7 o'clock match tonight, by the way, against Pete Sampras.
And Agassi used his head on this 4, and he didn't have the time to take a big backswing, so he just turned the shoulders, and then with a good turn, used the pace off Michael Chang's forehand and just hit a clean winner cross court. Not a very big swing, just a good shoulder turn straight through the ball, but hit it back even harder than Michael Chang had hit it to him.
Use your opponent's pace and stay down on the shot. He didn't lift up, so in order to pull that one out of court, he stayed right with it.
30-15.
Well, that time Michael was going to make sure that Andre wasn't going to take a short backswing and put it away. Gave it that little bit of extra. Michael really throws his body at the ball, Fred, when he hits his forehand.
He does. He's in mid-air all the time when he makes contact. Quite incredible. That was a great shot. I like that newfound aggression in Chang's game. The thing I like about it is that he's not afraid to use it, and it's cost him a couple of matches because he's not used to doing it. It's not one of his natural instincts, but it's becoming that way now.
It's interesting when he's working out with his brother Carl. You can see that they're always trying to develop a new shot. Ed, as you said, getting a little bit more aggressive. They're continuously working on their volleys. And they spend a lot of time on the serve, trying to just beef up that first serve a little bit deeper on the second. So he's not satisfied with where he's at. He wants to continually keep on improving.
Game point. Another big forehand from Chang for a winner. We're on serve, 5-4. First set, best of 3 sets. Semi-final day here at the Thriftway ATP. We'll take a break. On ESPN. Michael Chang is ahead 5-4, Agassi to serve. They have traded breaks of serve, 1 in this first set. Look at that. Agassi, even when he misses his first serve, has done extremely well. As you can see, his first serve percentage is not too strong.
Well, that's the first point Agassi's lost on serve in 12. He lost his opening service game of the match and then lost the first point of his next service game and then reeled off 12 points in a row on serve. It's only the second one he's lost in the last 4 service games. This is the 4th service game. You know, in my mind, that was a good shot to play, even though he missed it. He's had problems with Agassi's serve. He gets love 15. He has a look at a second serve, and he tries to hit it for a winner. So the worst thing that can happen is he gets back to 15 all. If he converts, he's in the driver's seat at love 30. So a good ploy there from Chang, even though it didn't pay off for him.
Great scrambling from Michael Chang. That's sort of his patented play. He really runs down balls that you think are most anybody else would certainly not get to, and he gets them back and hits them with quite a bit of pace. But that time Agassi dictating.
Puts pressure on the guys that he's playing against, that doesn't it?
Well, you're always trying to hit the shot a little bit too good.
Exactly.
.40-15.
40-15. I really thought last year was going to be Michael Chang's year. Remember, he started out, he won San Francisco, and then he went to the desert and Indian Wells. He won that, and he won the Lipton. And a great start to the year, but then he faded a little bit. He's won a couple of tournaments this year.
Tennis than Honor Agassi. We talked about the injuries to Agassi, but Agassi's singles record this year is 24-8. That constitutes 32 matches, and he's won 2 singles titles. On the other hand, Michael Chang has played 52 matches. He's won 2 singles titles as well, but that's a lot more tennis.
Game point. Oh, boy. Never used to let you play that shot in the old days, did they? Now, Andre Agassi is a master of it, and Chang can do it as well. Watch this.
Well, Fred said that Michael Chang has to get a little bit aggressive. This time, he keeps the ball deep against Andre Agassi. Now, Andre will put a little extra top. Now he anticipates getting it in the air, doesn't let the ball bounce, and sort of rushes his opponent and hits it for a winner. But you're right. The only guy that I used to remember hitting that shot was McEnroe. Used to like to take that ball sometimes at the service line and top it.
Big serve from Agassi, so he's got another game point.
It was considered a low percentage shot, Cliffy, when
Oh, yeah.
you, Fred, and I were playing.
You're darn right it was. I mean,
It's probably because we couldn't hit that shot.
I mean, when
that's
Fred
why it
was
a low
coaching you and
percentage
you
shot.
hit it, I could just see him putting his hands over his eyes.
Well, he used to do that a lot anyway.
Game.
So Agassi holds on. It's 5 games all. This Thriftway ATP Championships is the 7th stop out of 9 on the Super 9. That is the championship series on the IBM ATP Tour. And they all head toward the final showdown in Frankfurt. The top 8 players qualify for that. It's a round-robin competition. And the same kind of thing happens for the doubles players in Johannesburg the week following that. That will takes place in November. This is Michael Chang, semi-final. 5 games all, serving to Agassi. Cliff Drysdale along with Fred Stolle, Vitas Gerolaitis. We're in Cincinnati.
This is what's happened so far in the match. Agassi at 48%, Chang 49. Not too good on the first serve stats. The winners, Chang with a few more, so it shows you that he has been the aggressor, but he's also made a few more unforced errors than Agassi. Match is even. Chang has not backed off his game plan, and that's to go out and be aggressive. Talking about those topspin volleys that we saw Chang play. In our day, most of the players had a continental grip, or at best an eastern forehand grip. These boys have a western grip so they can get and hit it with topspin. We tried to do that with the wooden rackets and get the wrist over. There'd have been triples off the fence or home runs.
Michael Chang is so popular out there in Hong Kong and China in that area. Joe Chang, his dad, was actually born in China. He went to Taiwan in 1948, came to the United States in 66. When he was 22 years old, he met Betty there, that Joe's, at least Michael's mother, of course. There's that big topspin volley that we were talking about again. So Chang, no hesitation in coming in and having a crack at that one. Forehand from Agassi would have come back. That would have been pretty dangerous. Betty says that as a family they always try to combine the best of the Western and Eastern cultures.
Game, Chang.
Chang holds on. He leads 6 games to 5 in the first set. Agassi will serve to try to get into a tie break. We'll take a break. You know, there are a whole lot of things that you can do if you come to the tennis. In addition to watching the tennis, you can come over here to this serving cage. It's the Rado serving cage, sponsored by a watch company, and they tell you how hard you serve. Watch this guy. Is that?
I wonder if the cameraman had a lot of faith in this guy's serve, because he looked dangerously close.
Rado, of course, one of the major sponsors on the tour, and they have that fast serve contest at a lot of the tournaments.
127 for Michael Stich this week, and Pete Sampras behind him. Andre Agassi at 117. The 3 top fast servers for this week.
As a change of pace from Andre Agassi, Michael Chang gets the ball back deep, and it looked like he was going to hit a two-hander, but then with a very short swing, just played the ball. And the reason he won this point is because he was very accurate. He kept the ball down low and very close to the line. That was a smart play from Michael. You saw that Andre Agassi was hustling to get back to the center of the court and went behind the player.
Well, Agassi, I think, knows that Chang is going to be aggressive here. It was he observed what was going on that first point very well, because he played that one-hander, because he could see that Chang was starting to sneak into the net.
Called a fault. Looked for all the world like it was good to me. He's not going to get an overrule on it.
Agassi's hit 15-second serves, and he's won 13 of those. 13 of those points.
From Chang, and he's got 15-30 at 5-6.
Not only a great get, a terrific second effort, because Chang knew that if he didn't do something extraordinary off this fantastic forehand, he was out of the point, and he had an extra grunt there and got more power. Look at the depth. It was the depth that beat Agassi. He just couldn't set up for that shot.
Two set points for Chang.
15-4.
Maybe those folks in the hospitality tents, Cliff, that picked Chang here know a lot more than we know, because we all went for Agassi to win this match.
Saves one. Virtually the same spot that he put the serve last time he served there. That was called wide. George Diaz in the chair did not overrule it, and I can hardly blame him, because he's a long way from that call. Anticipated the down the line backhand from Agassi, and first set goes to Chang.
What a great exchange from the baseline from both players. Both swinging from the heels. Now that time Andre dipped the ball down real low, sets up for down the line, but good anticipation from Michael Chang, but he stayed down really low. Kept his head down on the volley. Great little pickup here. Gets the racket down, stays on. Now watch when he hits this volley. Racket out in front, and he'll stay really low, firm with the wrist. And yes, set point. Well done.
Underneath the volley, beautifully executed.
Because that was a pretty good passing shot from Andre Agassi. Kept the ball low with a little bit of topspin.
Just under an hour, 59 minutes that first set took. First set statistics there, Chang under 50% on first serves, no aces, no double faults, and Chang 15 winners and 17 unforced errors. He's been the one that's been trying to make the pace. That was his game plan against Agassi. He has not ventured away from that, and a well-played first set from both players.
30 love, first game, second set. Chang coming off playing a final just last week in Los Angeles, losing to Richard Krajicek, tiebreaker in the third. An hour old, this match now. He won in Osaka earlier this year. He also won a tournament in Jakarta over Charlie Stieb of Germany in the final.
That was just prior to the Australian Open in Melbourne. That was in January. Look at that winning record after he wins the first set. That's not a very good omen for Andre Agassi. 32-3 after winning the first set.
Not in the final last week, of course, against Krajicek. He won the first set 6-love, and then Krajicek beat him.
Agassi not having played that much tennis, but when he's lost the first set, he's only won 2 out of 5 matches.
Thirty all.
It's hot. You don't see Michael Chang do that very often. Take off the hat, walk around, take his 25 seconds and wipe the brow.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a clean winner. They can both do that, and it is so pretty to watch.
We haven't had an opportunity to see too many topspin lobs today because the guys haven't come to net too often. But this time, Andre, with great deception, holds the ball, racket back. You think he's going to hit a drive and just comes straight up on the ball and gets that little extra topspin for a great topspin lob. Good preparation. Gets the racket back. Now, you really can't tell if you're a net rusher whether he's going to hit it down the line cross court, and then at the last second, straight up the ball, extra top.
Chang missed it. Well, he started out well in that game. Agassi came back, so Agassi's got the break. First blood in the second set, 1-0 but he lost the first. Andre Agassi went on to win the second set of his match easily, in fact, as Michael Chang called on Todd Snyder later in that set. He is the trainer for the ATP because of a high body temperature. Anyway, Agassi started well again in the third set, so he gets a break, and we rejoin the match 4-1, Agassi leading in set 3.
Welcome back to the Thriftway ATP Championships, where Andre Agassi is controlling the way things are. We've showed you the forehand comparisons. Let's compare the backhands of these two here. Andre Agassi, now with that backswing, gets a little bit more wrist into that. See how he lays back in line with his shoulders, but then he snaps through with the wrist. And look at that follow through as he goes all the way out, stays on that front foot till he finishes the shot. Then Michael Chang, as he takes back, he steps it back. He comes through with a much stiffer arm. It's not so much the snap of the wrist. You can see those arms. It's more with that left arm coming through and using it. Agassi with a little bit more power of shot because of the way he snaps through with the wrist.
4-1 Agassi. This is Chang serving.
Last 12 games, Agassi, 5 unforced errors. Michael Chang, 22 unforced errors.
15.
Tempted topspin lobby, must hit it, so it's an easy put away for Agassi. 30-15.
15.
3 of the semi-finalists in this championship, and Edberg will take on Sampras tonight at 7 p.m. here in Cincinnati, are in their second straight Final Four showing here. Interesting, Agassi playing his first semi-final here, but he was unseeded. Double fault. Again, this is the match you're watching. Of course, Agassi, Chang, bottom of your screen. Edberg beat Brad Gilbert, the number 3 seed. The top seed beat Sampras over Steve Bryan of Texas. So it's Sampras and Edberg to play tonight. And the winner, of course, of that match tonight will take on the winner here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You can see it here on ESPN. I'm worried for Chang, Fred. I don't think he's... And I've never seen him really like this, where he's really, to all intents, looks like he's out of it. I mean, he may not be, and he may come back, but looks to me like he's making unforced errors so uncharacteristic of him in his game. I think the heat may be getting to him. Still game point for Chang. Little test for Agassi coming up here now. He has the 4-2 lead, and he will be serving into the sun. And make no mistake, folks, at this time of the day, the sun is in a really bad position for the players to serve from that side.
But what may help Agassi here is he'll be serving with new tennis balls, and it's a very hot day as he shows the balls to his friend and opponent, Michael Chang. On a warm day like today, his balls will zip through the air a little faster. Conditions are quick. We've talked to you about that. The conditions are court. The court's playing fast, and the balls are fast.
Andre had the shot that he wanted. Ball in the middle of the court. Back inside open of Michael Chang, and hits the ball at the top of the tape. He's got to be careful not to play a loose game here.
Oh, exactly. How many times have we said, hey, Michael Chang looked exhausted, and he's this and he's that, and he's still in there.
Gee, that's a good point from Agassi. Remember when Chang won the French championships, that match that he played with Lendl, match of the decade maybe, when he came back, and it looked for all the world like he was cramping up to where he wouldn't be able to continue. He stayed with it and won it eventually, and then beat Edberg in the final. So much for that.
Short second serve from Andre Agassi, and look where Michael Chang's standing for the return of serve. He's already about a yard in, and he'll move in even further when he's about to hit it. Steps in, bangs right through. Andre didn't even get off the mark. Another look at it from Michael Chang's perspective. He really gave the ball a ride.
15-30. He's really making Chang work.
Plus also that was a very smart shot from Andre Agassi. Michael Chang was all the way out of the backhand court, so he sees the open court, but not only will he go to the forehand side, but he puts a little extra topspin and plays the angle, which makes Michael Chang run even further outside the court, forcing the error. Very, very smart forehand from Andre Agassi.
30-all. Big point or what? Second serve, 4-2. Third set. Well, I'm not sure who was going for the topspin lob or the cross-court forehand passing shot there. It was a combination. It was easy put away.
Either way, I don't think it was very well hit. Andre's back on the baseline now. He'll get the shot. Chang's comes in on the short ball. Not a very good volley. Sits up front. Now, Andre looks like he's going to hit the topspin lob, and I think he was trying to execute that shot, but just...
But he comes through with an ace with break point against him, and it's deuce.
Well, his second ace of the match for Agassi. We mentioned the stats on his serve. He's only lost 6 points in his last 6 service games, and now he's fighting for his life in this one, where he's lost 3 to bring it to deuce.
Another break point chance for Chang coming up.
Well, Chang has just decided that he's got to stay with it and just go for winners. This time it's Agassi who just can't quite make it, just power of shot.
You really have to be able to hit the ball pretty hard to be 2 yards behind the baseline, hit a clean winner against someone else that's standing on the baseline.
Saves another one.
Andre Agassi's playing the big points well in this game. Ace on the previous break point, that time being aggressive, coming into net, forcing a passing shot from Michael Chang. But I'd say it's tough as a player, excuse me, Fred, when you see somebody struggling physically on the other side of the court and you don't know how you can exactly deliver the knockout punch.
In fact, what you do sometimes is you try to do something different from what you normally might have done, and it hurts you. Deuce. He missed it. It's another break point for Chang.
I think we can safely go back to our comment though earlier in this third set as to who wants this match. I think both these fellas really want to win this match at this stage. And we've seen Chang really down and out, and look at him, he's come back, and Agassi hasn't had any trouble on serve up until this service game, and Chang has taken it right to him.
But Andre Agassi's making Michael Chang cover an awful lot of real estate. Back and forth. But Michael Chang's so tenacious, a competitor. That previous point, he just made a tremendous get to win the point where basically he had no right to win that point, Fred.
Yeah, he wasn't even in it, but he, as we said, you never count him out. This has been the best game of the match for me so far. I think it's been so well played from both sides. And it means so much.
Well, we'd seen Michael Chang execute a couple of those high topspin forehand volleys, but Andre Agassi could have been in a little bit closer and just punched that one away. He had Michael Chang way back on the defensive position.
He missed that one. There's the breaker serve to Michael Chang, believe it or not, after we were talking about whether he wanted to be in this thing or not physically. 4-3 on serve, third set. We'll be back. Welcome back, everybody, to Cincinnati. The first professional baseball team in 1869 played here in Cincinnati, and the first to play a night game under lights was also here in Cincinnati. That was in 1935. Of course, the great Reds not having a good year this year, but they enjoy their home here in Cincinnati. So does the ATP Thriftway ATP Championships. Long and great history here. Michael Chang attempting to reach his fourth final this year. He's won a couple already. We've talked about those. He was in the final just last week in Los Angeles in a losing effort to Richard Krajicek. He's down here, but on serve in the third set. Serving into the sun.
Agassi served with new balls and it didn't quite help him. Now it's Chang's turn from that end, and the sun is a problem. But that forehand he got back into play. This one he gets the short, but look at the difference in that shot. He drives right through that one with a lot of pace. Right on the line it was.
He's moving slowly, Michael Chang, isn't he? But, you know, just like that French again. I mean, he's moving slowly, but when he gets in the middle of the point, you never know.
Runs like a rabbit, yeah. I tell you, and Agassi never really looked as though he wanted to run for those last two forehands. This is a very grueling stage in this match. There, Agassi never moved to that one.
So we're even in the third set. It's 4 games all. Andre Agassi is fighting this ATP Tour ranking of 28. He needs to get up there to the top 16 to get seated at the US Open this year. He will move up to about number 22 or so by getting to the semifinals. If he wins this match, he'll be up probably in the top 20. So he's closing in on where he wants to be. These are important moments for him. Love.
Chang taking a lot of time. Agassi also using those 25 seconds, but Chang is normally a lot quicker around the court than it has been the last 3 games.
Agassi forcing Chang to decide on 2 things as he runs through this ball. He's either just got to try to get it back in play, or otherwise he says, I got to get the point over, and watch what he does, readers.
Agassi really has been moving Chang from left to right on the court, and now out of desperation, Michael Chang goes for the big forehand down the line, but Michael Chang will not give up. He does. That is not in his vocabulary, quit. He is the ultimate competitor. Physically, he may not be feeling 100%, but he is, as far as mentally, he's giving it 100%.
Big serve from Agassi, and he has a 5-game-to-4 lead. Players are going to change ends. We will take a break. Neither one of these two has been world champion yet, Fred Stolle.
Tell you what, they've both come close to it, and the crowd, a packed stadium here this afternoon at the Thriftway, and they've enjoyed every minute of this match, as we thought they would.
Two players playing in tonight's semi-final, the second semi-final match, have both been #1 in the world, Edberg and Sampras.
Chang, we know that he always is in there. Agassi just faltered there, lost 3 games in a row, but has kept the pressure on. And he's won the first point in this game, which in my mind is an important start.
Tremendous stuff from Chang. Who could believe this guy is tired when he moves around like he does still? Crucial stage of the match, the adrenaline taking over, of course.
I think the heat's getting to you, Cliff, but have a go at this forehand down the line, and he stays with it. Watch the reaction from Michael Chang after this one. He just lets it go, and at full stretch, stays down there, keeps the head of the racket through the ball, slides. He's ready to come back for the next one. Here's that reaction.
How big was that point? Love 15. It's now 15 all.
Third 15.
Chang decided to stay in that geographical area that he had started out on, and Agassi went right back into him, but he still couldn't do anything about it. Watch.
Good effort from Chang to get to this one. Agassi has an open court, thinks that Chang's going to move over there. Chang comes back into the forehand corner, there, and he just goes too far, runs past that one. Great acrobatic. He was 3 or 4 feet in the air jumping to try and make that one.
30 all. Just as well for Agassi. That ball would have clipped the line, would have been an ace. Called a let. Mile-an-hour first serve for Chang. It's just enough. The return long. Game point Chang. Stage in a match here where you think that one of the players may just buckle a little bit, and Agassi certainly gave Chang a chance there, but nothing doing. He just whacked that clean winner down the line, as crisp as could be, and we are at 5 games all. Venus Gerulaitis, meanwhile, is headed down to courtside, get an interview with the winner. And it's over. Again, now Agassi serving into the sun. Last time he was in this predicament, he lost his serve.
Misses first serves here, you know Chang is going to have a crack at him because he showed signs of being weary. He was down 4-1 in this set, Michael Chang, and it looked as though he was out of it. Then he came back with 3 games on the trot, 3 games in a row to break Agassi's serve, as Cliff mentioned, from this end, the last time Agassi served there.
3 break points for Chang.
You mentioned this would get down to desire. And Chang is as tough mentally as any of them. Agassi there after the net cord. Chang let it rip down the forehand line, and rather than go for the big cross court one, he elected to go back in behind Chang, and just to make him work a little bit harder, stretch a little bit further.
Chang has the breaker serve, and having been at one stage 4 games to 1 down in the 3rd set, he now leads at 6-5 and will serve for the match against Andre Agassi. Michael Chang has enjoyed a long history of comebacks, and it looks like he's on the precipice of another one here. As we said, having been down a breaker serve here, 4-1, just 1 breaker serve at that stage, though he broke back to get even. Now he's broken again, and he will be serving into the sun for the match. Beat the sun thing to death, but it is a factor. Make no mistake about it, you have to rearrange your service toss, and that throws the whole thing off kilter.
Agassi's only made 11 unforced errors in this set, but 8 of them have come in those last 2 service games that he lost. Up until that stage, he'd only made a couple of unforced errors at 4-1, 4-2, and then at when he lost that service game 4-3. That was the turning point so far to get Chang back into it. Just a side thought, Cliff, not that it's bothering Andre Agassi at this stage, but he's due to come back on court in another hour in a doubles quarter-final match. So he's got a possibility of another couple of matches today. Both players look as though the weather, the heat, has taken their toll this afternoon.
$15 love.
This game's decided by inches. That would have been 30 love for Chang, and Andre Agassi wasn't within a bull's roar of that two-hander down the line, but it missed by a fraction.
15 all. Strategically, they're playing the serve game exactly the same. I mean, the other guy's serving into the sun, just jumping on the second serve. He has one now.
The 15.
Agassi just a fraction slow getting to the balls, and good strategy there from Michael Chang as he served a kicker out to the backhand and then opened the court up.
Slowly up there to shake hands. They are both exhausted on a very hot day. They both had to play 2 matches yesterday. Michael Chang beat Jason Stoltenberg in 3 sets, and before that he had a 3-setter also with Jan Simmerink. A long day yesterday, and Fred Stolle another long day today.
He played Stoltenberg and Jamie Morgan yesterday.
Excuse me.
So Morgan took him to a tiebreaker and then 3-setter. But a magnificent match, that one. But who'd have thought at that stage Agassi, after winning the second set 6-1, took a 4-1 lead. And at that stage, Michael Chang, halfway through the early stage of that third set, went out and took those pants off, those latex pants that they use. So a tough day for both players, but Andre Agassi now has got to do a lot more work to get seated at the US Open. Michael Chang, we've seen him make some tremendous comebacks, but today has got to be one of the better ones.
Michael Chang is not is just exhausted apparently, and as you said, Fred, it was Jamie Morgan that he beat in the round of 16, a tiebreak though in the second set, and then that 3-setter with Jason Stoltenberg, but he has just about had it, as you can see. not in a position to talk to anybody, far less us here on ESPN. So we are going to take a break and come back with more of this enthralling stuff. Thriftway ATP Championship from Cincinnati.